saying. That bad mind, that devil mind, the vicious mind, this Darwin's mind, the mind of survival of the fittest, that mind has had everything. Everything. That mind is the mind that has been hiding things. That mind is the mind that has had God on its side. That mind is the mind that has been killing people, that has been leading us to war. That mind is the mind that has done all these atrocious things that have happened in the world. As part of our history, we are all part of it. But what has it achieved really? Nothing. Absolutely zero. It has bred conflict over conflict on top of conflict. But just to re-emphasize it, when we have differences, it does not have to end up into killing. So this is trying to bring us on an equation where we're going to remove killing one another as part of the solution. We're going to take that out. That's what this is all about. Now, I was on that bit where I said this, I've represented that as a mind. And depending on how you dial it, on the good side, when things are good, on the bad side, when things are bad. And we've always been using the bad side, or most of the times we use the bad side, and that is how most of the leading edge of our law in the world is with the vicious mind. That's why nearly every country in the world, we've got an army. We're all armed to a point where I don't know even how to explain it. But we are dangerously armed. And yet, it's for a good reason why naturally we don't have natural weapons. But instead, we were given other abilities. Now we have abused that ability and doing negative things out of that good ability. I have put more things here, just again, thought-provoking and so on. Instead of us protecting ourselves, that vicious mind has put us into a situation where we protect ourselves using viciousness rather than using reason or education. And obviously, if you are going to use reason, you will need to be healthy and you will need to be to have education. Those are the two important ingredients for us to use reason. But when you use viciousness, it's just pure viciousness. It's very basic. So, as I've said here, the problem with the mind, that is the mind that is the remnant of the animal mind. The mind that is very vicious, that is frightful, it's very threatening. The mind of common sense. And yet there are things which sometimes you don't need to use common sense. You need to use something which is not common sense. Like vaccination, for example. Vaccination, whoever came up with vaccination had to use not common sense, something the opposite of common sense. If you told somebody that a vaccine is actually the virulent material whose virulence has been reduced and it has been injected in the body to provoke the body to produce antibodies, nobody would have ever believed it, but it has worked. That's what I mean, using something that is not common sense. So this idea of using common sense on everything, even when you don't need common sense, you need something outside common sense, is what I mean by this first mind, the animal mind. The mind that hides things. The mind that is thinking all the time, oh, things are going to run out, so I have to hide it. Since the dawn of our existence, I've asked this question before, what has ever run out? Nothing. People just scare us, oh, things are going to run out, things are going to run out. Nothing has ever run out. We've been here for, I don't know how long, thousands and millions, I don't know how long we've been on Earth in terms of time, but 100,000 years. What has ever run out? Nothing. We will have shortages, but that doesn't mean things are going to permanently run out. Things can run out temporarily, but that doesn't mean things are going to run out permanently. If that was the case, then there would be no point in us being alive or being within the genius of nature. Nature supported it that things can never run out. Otherwise, there's no point us being here. So that is the mind that is very basic in its thought. It doesn't think things thoroughly. It does not have the ability to discover or to invent things. We've used the good mind of ours to discover and invent things, and we know we've got that mind, but for some, I don't know why we do it, but I've said sometimes we are stuck in our ways. Then we end up, after we have succeeded in being able to discover and to invent things, and we have that ability, we know we've got it, but then we go back to viciousness. And some people justify it by saying, oh, we are naturally like that. No, we're not. We need to be led out of it. And this is one of the reasons why we are doing this, to be led out of some falsities where we think, oh, we are naturally like that. No, we're not. Otherwise, we won't be able to be inventful and discover things. We've made wonderful things in this world, and we can even do even more. We haven't even started. Then, the problems and the mistakes. I've mentioned this already. We are stuck in our old ways, and it becomes very difficult for us to get out of our ways, because it has been working like that for a long time. It becomes difficult. For example, now there is a need for us to change some of our economic systems. I've already mentioned where the product is of a detriment to the human being. Then why do you sell it on the positive, on the y equals to x graph? I've put that on other videos. Why do you sell ill health? The more people get sick, the more money you make. That should be on the opposite. The more people get sick, the less people get sick, the more money it is the people make. And that is very viable as well. Perpetual conflict that leads to death. In my introduction, that's what I said. That's the problem with the first mind. When you fight, you don't. When I have conflict with you, I don't have to kill you. You don't have to kill me. That ingredient of death has got to be taken out. In this new approach, this is what this is all about. The other thing I would like you to see here is, look at our exams. Those of us who have been in an exam. An exam is designed, it should be designed to make you understand. Such that when you understand, it becomes unique to you. Whatever it is you've learned, then you can twist and turn it in ways. Because you know the limits of what you've learned. But that's not the case. Our exam system, it simply recreates a state of emergency. That's why every time every one of us goes to an exam, we're nervous. Most of us, 99% of us, when we go for an exam, we're nervous. That simply recreates a state of emergency. So it causes students and learners to rather try and memorize things rather than really actually understanding it. And usually, ask most people. And after the exam, sometimes 5 minutes after the exam, when you ask him the same question, he can't remember. And he has passed it. So there is a fundamental problem with our exam. We already know the full comprehension of the quality and quantity of danger. So why do you recreate it in an exam situation? We know danger already. We are very successful against most animals. There's nobody who goes to bed worried, oh, the lion is going to come and eat me. We know that there's no lion who's going to come. And even us, those of us from Africa, where lions are within our vicinities, we have homes, and our little homes, which protect us enough from lions, so we are not worried about a lion. We're not worried about things like bacteria, even though it's still giving us problems. We have bacterial diseases and so on, things like mosquitoes. But at least we have we're somewhere with it. And then also we've mitigated mystery, things like ghosts and juju and paranormal behavior. We have mitigated that to a great level as well. So why should we recreate this in our exam system? So there's a problem with the exam system, trying to recreate a state of emergency, which causes us to memorize rather than to understand. And that's the problem with the first mind, the animal mind. we are fully aware of possible difficulties, which usually result in worry, pain, shortages, and mortality. We are aware of that. The biggest problem we have with death today, other than the fact that it can happen, it will happen naturally, it's the fact that it can be taken away by another human being. And that is the problem. That's the biggest problem. The most dangerous animal, one of the most dangerous animals, is us, against us. And yet, we also have the tool to stop that. We've never fully communicated between one another to mitigate that we shouldn't kill one another. And yet we know it's all bad. Every single man, nobody wants to die. I know that as a matter of fact. And yet since the dawn of our existence, we have not fully mitigated it. We've mitigated it in some areas where we have a group of people, we have countries or tribes, we are safe here. But throughout all mankind, those of us who live on earth today, we haven't. So this is one of the other reasons why we're doing this. So we can fully mitigate this death thing, because it's a problem to all of us. To everybody. Nobody wants to die, including those who create war. Why do you go and hide in a bunker after you have created the war? You're so confident, I'm going to start a war, I've got a nuclear battle, because you are going to hide in a bunker. Yeah, you stay here and see. So that is with that. The significant changes that make us different from the rest of the other animals, so that we should not use the animal mind, is that we have fully understood how to manipulate fire. And that's what forms the basis of our thermodynamics. And thermodynamics is the science that has enabled us to produce everything we have on Earth. That is a skill we have as humans. The rest of the other animals, none of them have got that skill of using fire. Chimpanzees don't use fire, our closest relatives. Dogs don't use fire. When they get their food, they eat it like that. They don't have to cook it. Us, we have to cook the food. If you don't cook the food, problems. There's some little cuisines here and there where you eat it raw, but generally the food is cooked. If you get meat, you have to cook it. If you get the carbohydrate, you have to cook it. The material that you use to cook, the cooking pan, to make it, it's made by cooking in furnaces which hold higher temperatures, 5,000 degrees, 4,000 degrees, and so on. So thermodynamics, we have it. We have a tool of thermodynamics. Whether you use it or you don't, it's there in you. We have to exploit that fully before we even think about death, to killing another person. We have not exploited that. We haven't exploited our differences fully before it becomes necessary for you to destroy another man's life. We haven't even started. Reduction of randomness. We have reduced randomness in the sense that there is a lot of things we can predict with absolute certainty. Things like food production. We have mitigated food production very, very well. Again, and on a different video, I did show you that. I said, why are we hiding fundamental tools? That's one of the reasons why we don't have enough food. Because people are hiding the technology to make a tractor. Why are we having people who have a lot of diseases? Because people are hiding the technology to put ourselves into good health. And we use the law of intellectual property. And then we have all these problems, and then we wonder, where are these problems coming from? When it's the first mind that is hiding things. So there's a problem with the first mind. So we are all victims of our own animal mind. But we also have the good mind, the non-animal mind, which maybe in this discussion I'll refer to as the second mind. We've predicted weather, and we do predict. Sometimes we get it wrong, but most of the times we get it right. We've been able to succeed in a lot of health issues. Even malaria was a big problem. Bacterial diseases was a problem. Viral diseases were a problem. But we have mitigated them in very many different ways. So, this has been just a little insight on what we're trying to do. I'll just leave you with this one. What would life be like if the fundamental basics, the fundamental basic tools were not hidden? If it was available? Because those are fundamental tools. You cannot expect me to play good football if I don't have the football kit. How am I going to play football? How am I going to run the 100 meters when I don't have the running shoes? And then when you run the 100 meters with your running shoes and you've been training and so on, then you say, oh, you can't run. No. You are not in a conducive situation in order to perform. So we are still not in a conducive situation in order for us to perform. Let's give each other a chance. Please give us a chance. This is just the beginning. There's one more thing that I want to add on, but I can't remember it. I've forgotten it, but it's all right. I think I've said most of the things. There's accidents there. Again, it's related to the first mind, because sometimes of the pressure we have as a result of rushing. It's like we are in a stampede. A slow motion stampede. All the time we are rushing. In the whole world, we're all rushing. Where are we going? We're just rushing to killing each other. Rush. The whole world is rushing. We need to calm down. We need to calm down, all of us. And the knock-on effect of calming down will help all of us. This has been your host, Moses Miller Mayat, and this has been Amateur Thinking. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. Please contribute, and contribute with your ideas, and let's see how we can put this together. It's going to be sweet. I'm very optimistic. This world will be a better place. What I'm promising you is right here on earth. So, thank you.